Welcome to the very first episode ever of the Game of Life with Andrew Mwanguhya, where we explore real stories of triumph, transition, and everything in between. And today, I'm honored to host a woman who has defined Ugandan basketball for over 2 decades. She's played at the very highest level, captained the national team, led different clubs to glory, and off the court, she continues to break barriers in business and mentorship. From buzzer beaters to the boardroom, she is proof that sport is more than just a game. It's a way of life. Please welcome the incomparable Flavia Flirsh Oketcho. Flav, welcome to the Game of Life, our very first guest.
I'm honored. Hi, Andrew. How are you?
I don't know if I should greet you as hi Flavia, but I think Etienne Eddy.
Auntie Mabel, you've done your homework.
I've done my homework.
Amazing, amazing.
There we
Hello
go.
to my Tororo people, Japland.
Yeah. So we are really pleased to have you, our very first guest ever, a lady. And like we said, someone who has dominated the game for over 2 decades. Now, I really want us to go back. Basketball player, brand ambassador, entrepreneur, mom, wife, we can say it all. Just this person that we see before us here, who has won championships, 15 championships, national championships, captained the national team. Where did this all start, Flavia?
I mean, when you say all that, people are like, oh my God, how does she do all this stuff? And one thing that I have to say is I always have a simple explanation to that.
Yeah.
I'm a woman. We are multitaskers. Yeah, I'm not throwing shade at you, Andrew, for being a man, but everybody knows that as women, we can manage to do a lot. We can do 2, 3, 4, 5 things at the same time. And of course, we might break down here and there, but we always lift ourselves up and go with that. Well, for me, my whole journey, I feel, started when I was in primary 7. I left school. This was Kitante Primary School. And I had a commotion at Kitante Hill School, secondary school.
Yeah.
Because at the time we were living near the school. And there was, at the time, a mud basketball court, Maram, just half court, somewhere that they used to just park the cars and kick stones around. But then there was a company that was doing activations then for basketball. And at that time, they had 3 of the tallest people I had ever seen in my life. I think it had Stephen Omon, Oberu, someone who was in the US, and one more person, I can't place them. And they had these people come in with this company and shut. I will not mention them because they've not paid me to do so. So I had these people come in with the company and the basketballs and their brands and everything. And they were just passing basketballs around, little kids and everything. And I was in awe. I was like, oh my God, number one, there's tall people like this. Even if, I did have tall people in my family, but just to see them do that. And then number 2, I really liked what they were doing. They were dunking. God did not give me the height to dunk, but they were playing with the ball and it was aggressive. I don't know how that is, but my nature has always been aggressive. At the time I was in primary school, I was doing pretty much every sport. I was playing, I think, a bit of netball at the time. I was doing high jump. I was doing 100 meters, 200 meters, 400, cross country. I was the house captain of my color, which was blue. And then on top of that, at first I started as a Girl Guides leader, but then I was leading the boys as well. So they made me into a troop leader. So I was the overall scouts master. So I feel like for me, everything and my path until then has always been sports leadership. So when I saw these people playing the sport, I was really interested to learn, what is this, Fortunately, I got a chance. This was in, I think now this would be my Form 1. I had my cousin at that time who was also playing basketball. I knew about it, but I had never seen him play. But I had the opportunity to be now in the school, Kitante Hill School, where now they were actually playing the sport. But how it was in Kitante Hill, it was no ordinary school. It was the most competitive basketball school I had ever been in my life. They put out a list and they say, register and come on court to sort of like audition for the basketball team. Now, there was a problem. Back then, I was extremely skinny, extremely small, very tiny human being. I knew I wanted to play basketball, but I was really weak. I was really, So the first time ever I got onto the basketball court, my coach at the time was Mr. Mobiru. I will not forget you. He went on to live in Boston in the US. In front of the whole school, I entered the court so shy, in my small shorts, and my mom had bought me a polo t-shirt. So I was the polo with the collar and the shorts and some sneakers. And he looked at me, and I was really shy to come onto the court because it's a whole school looking at you in shorts and everyone is waiting to bully you. This is high school. This is secondary school.
Yeah.
And in front of the whole school, Mr. Mubiru, man, he chased me. He told me, this is not a modeling show. You need to go. Oh my God. I was so pained because, and he did not mince his words. He's like, number one, you're 2 minutes late. Number two, you're really small, so you can go. And I left. That night, I cried myself. I like to sleep. I was so hurt. One, I was embarrassed, but I was really hurt.
What did he mean by this is not a show?
I mean, I feel that sometimes now that I'm older, there's a lot of things that we seem to just think adults don't make mistakes, and whatever they tell kids is all right because they're older. But then for me, I feel at the time, because of the way I looked and the way I was skinny and just my stature, I think. Just the way I look, probably. I'm just doing guesswork because I don't know what was on his mind. He just said, this is not a modeling contest. It's not a modeling show. You can go. Because I guess the narrative back then was, if you're going to play basketball, then you shouldn't really be smart. You should be ready. You should tough, tall, big, and that just wasn't me.
And that brings me to the name Flash. Flash, like when you say flash, you just see flickers of light, flash. And you are known on court to really come when you're very smart. It's like you're not going to sweat or you're not going to be touched. So where did Flash come from?
Oh, wow. So funnily enough, this is around the same time that name came about. I was chased, but then I did not give up. The very next day, I left class slightly earlier. Kids don't do this. And I was on court. The first person, the teacher, the coach came, because he was a teacher as well. He came and he found me already at the court. And back then in Kitante Hill School, because we had a mud court, you'd have to train there 2 weeks, and they sort of cut down, they get the creme de la creme.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that they would take to train at Lincoln International School, which is now ISU, which at the time was where the British High Commission is. That is where the Uganda Museum is. So you'd have to first be good here, and then be allowed to go train there, because there they would strictly take 12 players.
Yeah.
No more. So in the 2 weeks, when he came and he saw me the very next day, he looked at me and told me, you're here. And the funny thing is, in that very school, my dad, my stepdad, but he's my dad, was the deputy headmaster. So I feel for him, he was trying to make an example out of me that no one is above the law. So when I came back, he looked and he was like, he didn't expect me to come back. But I was there and I was on time and I was ready. And he said, okay, let's see how far you can go. He gave me the chance. In the 2 weeks, I actually made the school team and then went over there. Now, during that whole period of playing is when the name Flash came about. At first, I had no idea what it was. It was one of my friends that I think classmates, he used to do a lot of these superhero things and things like that. And then he just one day said, "You're like Flash." So I'm like, what is that? Because I didn't know what that was. And that's why the very first newspapers that were ever written of me that I kept, I signed it Flash, but then the spelling was so terrible. Like I spelt it Flush, like Flash. So after some time, I realized, no, actually they meant the Flash. Like, okay, that makes more sense. However, in my bid to always be a little bit different, I decided to spell my name Flirsh.
Yeah.
Because it says Flourish. So that's not like the superhero.
It's
that's
not
like
Flash,
two
but it's
in
Flourish.
one. It's Flourish.
Hey.
It's Flash. So
that's an
it's either
interesting
I'm
one.
fast or I'm flashy. So
I get it.
Yeah,
That's a good
pick.
story. And to your stepdad, I want us to finish family before we proceed. He's called Martina Roma.
fantastic dad. Yes.
And mom Edith Jamwa.
Yes, my mother.
Your mom, your sweet mom. Just before we leave home, family, we've talked about school and all, but I'm interested to know the family you were born in. You'll correct me. You are the only child in the family. Just how did mom and dad shape the being of Flavia Oketcho that we have today?
For me, I don't even know how to explain this so well. My mother is a tough cookie. My mom is so tough. Not on toughness or beating or this or that. My mom is resilient. That woman told me that if something cannot talk, it cannot defeat you. And with everything basketball, the reason I got up every day and went to try and prove that I can do this sport was my mom. Because my mom took no excuses. And she's the parent I know that made sure I do sports. She'd wake me up. If I told her I want to jog every day before I go to school, she will not just take my word for it. Those words don't come lightly. My mom would be my alarm at 5:30. You did say you're jogging, right?
Yeah.
Go. Training with ladybugs. We used to train every day at 7 6:30 a.m. at YMC on Saturdays.
Ladybugs, that's your first club.
That was my first club.
Yeah.
And my mom would wake me up on a Saturday at 6. I would be at practice at 6:45, waiting. There's so many parents that I know out there who will go the extra mile for their kids. But at that time, I know so many who would do it only for academics. No parent is going to tell you to wake up all the time to go play sports. Actually, at that time, most of them would say you're wasting time.
Yeah.
So my mom, there was nothing like wasting time. If you're going to train, then you train. No.
Where was she getting the drive from to push into sports?
She always tells me I was a runner. And I believe her because in my primary school, she used to run the teacher and parents. You run for your color, and then they give the points. And my mom was always number one.
Oh.
So yes.
Okay.
So though the last time she did, she couldn't walk for like 2 weeks. But I know she used to, the stories that she says, I know that she used to run, run quite a bit. Not professional, not in school, not anything. I mean, like, school competitions and stuff, but just like a runner. Like she would run primary school, she would run, and she didn't take it no further. Yeah, but she was always just for what I believe in and what I want to do.
Still, stories about mom relate well with me. You talked about Girl Guide, and my mother is a Girl Guide, has been a Girl Guide since I started understanding. Actually, I was a scout, and I wanted to go to Kazi. So I traveled with the Girl Guides with my mom in a truck, school truck, but in front with the commissioners.
The planned ones.
Yeah. So when we arrived in Kazi, I was supposed to go to the scouts camp.
Yes.
Did I go there? I spent the whole weekend sleeping in my mom's tent, and but that's a story for another day.
We went to the camp. Yeah. We cooked, we walked in the jungle, everything.
Yes, so I didn't see those things. I was with the commissioners.
Andrew, softy.
Did you? Are you okay talking about your biological dad?
Oh yeah, there's no issues there.
What's the story? Is he alive?
He died.
At what age did he die?
I think I was 7.
You were 7. Oh, so and then the stepdad was dead, and
yeah.
Okay.
I had a brother.
Okay.
He passed away too. Yeah, I don't like talking about it.
It's okay.
Yeah. But I have really close cousins who are my sisters. Our mothers are sisters, and I have, and then I have a step sister and brother from my father. Yeah. So my dad and mom didn't have another child, but then he had the children and she had me. And
so you're your mom's only child.
Yeah.
I get it now. Of course, you made your debut in 2000 in Top Flight.
Andrew here getting to my age.
And A1 Challenge was something at the time. And your very first season in Top Flight basketball, you actually, like the great man always says, knocking Liverpool off their perch. You did win your first championship against A1 Challenge. And then the story started. You could just maybe run us through that.
I mean, for me, back then, my first championship, I did not play as much as my second. I was put into Ladybugs when I was 14 years old. I think it's different these days. I don't know. Yeah. Most players get into teams when they're finished S6 or in university. Yeah. So I was 14 and I was already in the club and working tooth and nail. And at the time, that's the championship that I could say I played less because there were really older ladies ahead of me. And those days, the coach has to respect the older,
Seniority.
the ones who were before you. And then also there were only 12 jerseys. These days, you can make jersey up to number 99. No one cares. Before then, there was number 4 to 15. And you have to fit in those 12. And who's going to give you their jersey? You have to fight for it.
Yeah.
So it was not easy for me to get a jersey. I had to pray for someone to be sick. Sorry.
We're being real here. We're being real.
Yeah. I had to be like, oh, is this one doing exams? Will not come. But then my manager, oh my God, God rest her soul. That lady
What's her name?
The late Susan Kafumbe Mukasa.
Okay.
She's my mentor. She was it for me. It was her team. First, she's the one who brought me into the team. But she fought for me every step of the way. At one point, because I was right, I could run, I could do everything. She threatened to fire the coach if he doesn't play me. So that's how I got onto the court. And my brother as well, my cousin brother, God rest his soul. Why am I even? The late Oketcho, Wilbert Ox. He came to one of my games, and him and I remember vividly his best friend at the time, who is Marvin. Marvin lives in the US. They came with like placards. By then, the jersey I had got was number 10. So they're like, we want number 10. We want number 10. And by then they were playing for power. And my cousin was a force to reckon with because he was amazing. So they screamed and screamed and screamed until the coach gave up and put me on the court.
Wow. He intimidated the coach. The family intimidated the coach.
Yeah. He put me on the, on the court.
I think that says something about family support, the system.
Yeah.
And the role it played in you actually playing the game from very early.
And by that time, we were playing only 2 halves, not 4 quarters. So first half. So second half, the coach had no choice but to put me on. And I will tell you that the first time that I got put onto the basketball court, I only got on for 40 seconds. And I didn't even touch the ball.
How did that feel?
I mean, for me, it was like, at least I got on. You know, I was so determined. And you cannot believe who did not pass me the ball. I'm going to pull you out. She's another one of my mentors. And she was one of the women that I looked forward to and still do up to now. And we got onto the court. She was one of the biggest ball hogs I've ever met in my life because she would not pass you the ball to save your life. Hello, Madame Penina Kabenge.
Oh, I knew that was coming. Penina Kabenge.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's...
We got onto the court. She was an amazing... She was a scorer. Yes. With 1 dribble only. But she would run from coast to coast and hit that board and still go in. But she would never pass you the ball. Like, never pass you the ball.
I think she will enjoy this segment.
So I got on to the court and I ran for defense. You know, they stole the ball. We used to call her Penny at the time.
Yeah.
Penny came on, banged the board. Well, we went back for defense. I came back. I was wide again. She put the ball up. And in those 40 seconds, I did not touch the ball. But in her defense, she used to score a lot. And also, at that time, we didn't have stopping time. It was running time. So there's no time for the ref to get out, get the ball, give it to you. No one has that. It's like pick up, get it and go. And she was the get it and go kind of person, you know. But at the same time, she was also one who would always tell me, let's go, let's not give up, let's go. And looking at her and the playing, and then Susan, by that time, she wouldn't run or anything, but that lady would score from everywhere. Half court, she throws the ball and it's inside, even when her knees couldn't move. So those two ladies, to me, they molded me into who I was. The one of them really pushing me, you need to come, you need to play, you need to, and the other one pushing me but making sure to know that she's my competition and I am not going anywhere near her until I can be better. And I needed that. So for me, I have been molded by some tough women out there.
And no wonder you are that tough woman, and in the way you take on life and everything that comes your way, you really embrace it and take it on strongly. We'll get into some of the defining moments in your playing career, but there's one point where something leadership about you occurred quite early. I'm happy to have you as my alumni. I went to Uganda Christian University and we all did mass communication.
Yes.
So good to have you as my very first guest. But before you went to Uganda Christian University, you actually wrote a proposal, not only for yourself, but on behalf of other players. Just take us through that story of how that actually changed how Uganda Christian University views the game.
So you want me to finish my autobiography here? Huh?
Right here, the game of life is where we tell the real stories of triumph.
But my book will not sell.
And we'll host you when you have the book here. The hostage will be right here, and then we'll do it. So that story, it's powerful. I just want I want viewers to actually hear this from you.
So a lot of people don't actually know that I was in UCU. I remember there's a time we were in the national team in 2013 in Dar es Salaam, and we were at the airport, and I think it was, I don't know if it was a player or it was the coach who said, "Can we take a photo of UCU alumni, all of you?" So everyone was there, most of the players, because UCU, everyone has probably gone through that system, at least most of the good players, and they went around to take a photo.
And most of the good journalists.
Yes. Yeah. So I got up and went and sat and joined them, and they were all like, like, what is Flash doing here? And they don't know, I literally, the founders of the Lady Cannons. Yeah. So what happened was, at the time, after my S6, I was given government sponsorship, but it was for Gulu University. And at the time, I didn't know anything about the North or anything about Gulu, but I knew they had no basketball. So I didn't want to go. I wanted school, but I didn't want to go. So I tried to get myself transferred to Makerere University. I went, entered inside some of the, offices and saw the employees playing Pac-Man, not bothered with helping. Yeah. She tells you, wait there. And she's on her computer with the Pac-Man. And then the boss came out and we all had our issues. But it's like, And I was like, okay, what can I do? And I tried to reach Madame Penina at the time, but she's like, I'm not sure if they can transfer, when they've given you the scholarship, that means they're paying the other university. They can't exactly transfer you to the main university. So I was stuck because I didn't want to go, but I didn't have any other choice. So I won't go through details of what happened at that time, family-wise. But I got stuck to the point that I called, by then there were two brothers who were at UCU. You might know them, Jeff Omondi and Robert Mugabe.
Oh, yeah.
And I called them and I said, I've heard you guys are at UCU. What's up? Is there some kind of scholarship or? So Jeff tells me, no, actually, they don't give out scholarships. We are being paid for by a church. So at that time, UCU had just become into a private university because it used to be a priest,
Yeah.
Christian, not really public, private university. So I told him, okay, but what do? I need school. And by that time, I was so used to getting scholarships because that's how I went through secondary school. Every school I went to, I was given a scholarship to be in that school
Because
of basketball,
Yeah.
because I was good at it. So I don't pay tuition, but I play for the school. We win, and life goes on like that. But university now was a different story. So Jeff told me, but there is a sports director. His name is Jason Mel. Would you like to come and meet him?
Yeah.
I said, can you make me a meeting? So he's like, yeah, I can talk to him. He's very free person. So I said, okay, make for me. So I'm like, when can you? He's like, come Saturday. Saturdays are usually free days because by then they had just the boys team.
Yeah.
And Jeff and Robert paid for by the church. I got up, I took a taxi and went to Mukono. And he took me to meet Jason Mel at his house. He talked to me. I told him, look, by then I was already in the national team. If I mention the years, you might calculate. No, but this was 2005. So I tell him, I am on the national team. I'm the point guard of the national team. I'm the assistant captain of the national team. And I am willing to build you a school team.
Wow.
I have 3 ladies with me, and 1 is already at the university. By then, Frances Nabulobi was already at UCU as ending her second year. So I said, and Frances was in the national team and in Ladybugs. Fantastic player. So there was Francis, and then I told him there is Lorraine, Celia, and Brenda. Lorraine and Celia had come in initially to play for another club. I will not mention them, but they did not fulfill their end of the deal. So they refused to play for the club and said, we're not, because we needed an education and you're not giving it to us. They were from Kenya. Brenda Mboni was with me in Ladybugs as well and finished with me in S6. So I told him, we are 4 and there's 1. We can teach, we can do everything. So he said, so Jason told me, it's a good idea. The problem is the semester starts on Monday. That's orientation. Also, UCU does not give out bursaries or scholarships. We're just not there yet, So I told him, what if let me go and have something written down. So I left. And at that time, my dad had, things were not going good, and he had downgraded to another job. So he had sort of lost his job. And so I knew that there's no way they can pay for me. So I left the school and I went. There used to be a cafe called Click Cafe on Uganda House. I paid 500 shillings for 20 minutes.
A lot of money.
A lot of money. A lot of money.
Yes.
And they gave me the 20 minutes and I went and I opened Word. I had no idea how to even write then, but I knew what I wanted to say. And I wrote me and the 3 girls and wrote what we have done, how we can promote the university if they start, this. And then I took myself back to UCU to give the proposal. What a lot of people do not know is at the time, I didn't even have enough transport to get me to UCU and bring me back. So I decided to go halfway. Then I got a bike and went the complete journey. Wow. And I told Jeff, man, I need like 2K. I don't even think he remembers giving me the 2K. And he gave me 2,000 shillings. But I gave the proposal to Jason. And then it was a waiting game. And I came back. But let me tell you something. If there was ever a doubt that there is a God and there are angels on this earth, that is who Jason Mel is. Because Jason did not just take this.
Yeah.
Jason looked for money, because this money cannot just come from the university at the time. He went through everything to get churches back there to commit, to give us scholarships, to start the team, you know. So I waited on that day. My mom was like, when are you going? You know, when are you packing? They're getting ready to take me to Gulu. When are you packing? You need to. I'm like, wait, they're going to give me a scholarship. My mom was like, those are all lies. They lied to you. You will lose this place because there's a deadline of when you're supposed to put it on. And we'll have nowhere else to take you. And there's nowhere else you can go. Let me tell you something. Jason calls us on the house phone. By then, I had no mobile, but we had a house phone.
You had left him the number.
Yes, okay. I needed that. So he calls me and says, I don't know whether you serve the living God, but if you don't, now is a good time to start, because all 4 of you have gotten a full ride.
Wow.
At Uganda Christian University.
And a full ride, you mean?
Full ride, I mean, they were giving us the education, they were giving us the accommodation, the feeding.
Wow.
I told him, what? You've gotten a full ride. Let me tell you, I put down, I was going crazy. My mom wasn't there at that time. When she came, I told her, Mommy, I've got a full ride. She didn't believe me. She's like, those are lies. I've seen the fees of UC. Who's going to pay for you all these dollars? Those are lies. You have to go and take this place. So I get money, 200 shillings, and I go, there's a shop that had, you know, these phones of MTN that you used to... Coins? No. You'd pay 200-300 to make a call. Yeah. So I give the lady 200 and I tell her I need to make a call. I make a call to Jason. I'm like, my mom doesn't believe anything you've said. He said, don't worry. I'm coming to Kampala in the evening. I'm bringing the paperwork.
Whoa.
Like, yes. So I sit and wait, trying to prove this lady. I'm telling her, she's coming. Jason is coming in the evening.
Yeah.
So my mom is like, yeah. So she was in the bathroom. At the time, the car, on the road, you can see when a car parks by the house. My mom was in the bathroom. I kid you not, that lady nearly fell out of the bathroom trying to run to the bedroom to dress up and come out. Because the car that came to park there said Uganda Christian University, Academic Affairs. And Jason came out. And I don't mean to be weird, but she had no idea that Jason was white.
Yeah.
Now us, we know that white people don't like. Oops. So she was like, this is serious. So she nearly fell out and came and listened to him. And the entire time she was listening to Jason talk, your daughter has got a full ride. We are paying for everything. All she has to do is play. My mom was looking at me like, I can't believe you did this.
Yeah.
I really can't believe you did this. So that was the start of UCU Cannons. So we started the team, started training and calling anyone interested, just come and join. You know, so 2006, we did university games. There was UTL at the time, the tournaments, university tournament. We were really close to win that. We were second. Makere by then had a powerhouse of so many players. Yeah. 2007, we did Magic and then got into the league. And then 2008 won the first UCU title. From A1.
How was Mel's reaction, the feeling? Because I remember the time we used to watch, of course, the UCU cannons were like always coming close. And as a UCU alumni, I hurt when I remember that Jason Mel didn't win the championship. But he always was there, even for the ladies.
He won a championship with us.
No, I mean with the UCU cannons.
Yeah.
But with you, his reaction and knowing that the faith he put into you actually was repaid by a title and actually putting UCU on the map. How was his reaction back at school, in the locker room, in the bus back home?
Jason was one of the most passionate sports people I've ever known in my life. Not only good at heart, but he loved the sport and he loved the people. Jason is one person as a coach I can remember. We went our first university games in Ndeje. That's the first time we actually, we beat Makerere. That was the first time. Before even that game, because they extended games trying to give other people a way to come in from other sports and join. Like they were really being unfair towards us because we're the newbies. He was the coach that goes and looks in the shops and got us cupcakes and came to give us to eat and bought some other stuff to give. He was so passionate, but he loved us. Like you know, like you play basketball, but I don't know if you've ever heard of playing for somebody. He was the kind of coach that you play for. So for him to win, every game we played, Jason didn't have a voice. After the game, he has no voice.
He actually played with you against the ref and everyone else.
Everybody. He had no voice. He would scream. He would be all over. But him as a human being, he was someone that for me is rare to find. Yeah. And I have seen it with very few people who literally, there's no ulterior motive. This person is just doing this because he's a good person. And he also had to deal with, because at the time I was really stubborn. So he's one mentor who also had to deal with the very immature, stubborn me, you know, because I remember the time that I think he wanted UCU in the league and I wanted to still be in Ladybugs. And he said, Flavia, we are paying your tuition. We're doing, how can you, because I have a problem with loyalty. Like I am so loyal to people who have been there for me. Now I had a sort of like loggerheads because I knew if Francis and I left Ladybugs, it would fall. My manager would have no point of keeping the club anymore because we were the top 2 players. And without us, it would definitely collapse. But I also knew that UCU had also given me an education. So I have to play for them. So I was...
That must have been a tough place.
Yes.
Yeah.
And after that, I just had to choose where I'm getting the education, you know. But I remember also a scenario, sorry, Jason, where KCC at the time used to go a lot and play intercities. So they had a game in Nairobi and we had a game here. But they needed to take me as the point guard because then I would boost their team. But Jason was like, you have to choose.
Yeah.
And I was so mad at him. Like, how do you not let me go? But now that I'm older, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Because at the end of the day, I still played this game and they still made arrangements for me to join the other side after. But I felt like my priorities should have been better at the time.
Yeah.
So he was so patient with me because sometimes my love for the sport and love for basketball makes me a little bit, I don't know where my priorities should be. But then after a while, I got to understand and see what I should do and where I should
That
be.
must have been a tough place for you as a young girl. Now, club basketball. Of course, you played for the Lady Bucks. You see, you won that first championship in 2008, KCCA Leopards. Every club you've played for, you've actually won a championship. And the total is 15. Well, some say 14, but your word is 15. And then JKL Dolphins, your current club, where you've won 2018, 2019, 2023, and 2024. In between, the only club that interfered with you was UCU Lady Cannons and COVID.
Yes.
So in all this, these championships, we play to win the championships. What are some of the defining moments? What are the standouts that you look back to and say, these two or this one, this is it?
Are you trying to ask me for my favorites?
Yeah.
A winner never gets tired of winning. I honestly, well, some favorites I have are some firsts, like winning my first championship. And then obviously one of the titles I hold dearest to me is when I won MVP of club. By then it was the Zone 5 now, was Eastern Central and East Central and Southern Africa at the time. I was 17 and the youngest to win it. But that game meant the world to me because we were down 20 points and came back and won that game.
That's against who?
I think at the time it was against Jeshi Stars of Tanzania.
Okay.
And those girls were tough. Woo! Most of them were soldiers. They were tough. I don't think Tanzania's never produced a team like that. Way back, they had a hell of a team. So that meant the world to me, because it just meant so much to me. And then going through that, other championships, like my first championship, obviously, with UC, because I had promised them I would get them a championship. And then obviously me getting player of the year, USPA of the year in 2012 meant a lot to me and the championship because the journalists you guys had taken me off because I had just given birth to my daughter. So they're like, we haven't seen any player bounce back to what they were before after that. So what's different about her?
And that's where the real you comes out.
Exactly. Okay. So that was important for me because I feel like a lot of women are written off and it gets through our heads.
Yeah.
And then that's why every time someone disappears if you left the sports scene for 4 years and come back, there's a very high chance the female players that you left then will not be the same that you find. We are different from the men because life takes over. Either they get married and have children and now feel, I can't do this because society is telling them now you have to prioritize other things, or now you can't play because you're a certain kind of way. So for me to change that narrative was important, to know that I can be a mom and I can still play. I can raise my kids. I can be anyone really that I want to be. I can be a mom. I can be a wife. I can do all my responsibilities and still be good at what I am good at basketball.
Flavia, since you've gone into that, let's stick to exactly that point. When you gave birth and then there are all these narratives about, women go, they don't come back. How that space, if you remember it, how did you manage it? Because it's tough. How did you actually manage it to go against the odds, against the narrative, And who did you speak to in that? How were you in that zone?
I am literally my biggest critic, and I am my biggest supporter. I didn't speak to no one. I just knew I had to do it. But I had support. My husband is very supportive. He's not a professional sports person, but he understands what it is I have to do. So at the time I was in the UK, and one of you always has to be with the kids, and that means someone has to be supportive. So he easily says, go run, go train. I got this. Go and do. I got this. Because sometimes I've seen situations. I had a very fantastic player whose partner went and got all her jerseys and tossed them in the outside latrines that they had, because he was saying, when are you going to stop this sports that you're doing? So a lot of the time we are faced with so much. Now you can have the mindset, but if you don't have the backbone and the support, it's very difficult. So I had that support, but then I have my own mindset that I am not going to let the negativity win. I am going to do whatever I can. I'm going to train in whatever way I can, and I'm going to get back to exactly who I am. And in that very year, I came back to Uganda at the end of 2011, and 2012 I carried the title. Because it took me 2 months postpartum to get back to jogging. 2 months.
Wow.
2 months. 2 months to get to the court. 6 weeks to jog. The 6 weeks I just went to the doctor. When he looked, he said, "Is everything okay?" I said, "Everything is okay." I said, wow. That very day that I had the doctor's appointment at 6 weeks, I went to the park and I jogged. My legs were the heaviest that you can imagine. I couldn't even believe it. And then after doing that for 2 weeks, so that was the 2-month mark, I got a team nearby, and I went and I started playing pickup with them. So
that's really powerful. I can imagine the ladies listening or watching us, and they're thinking, when you give birth, that's the end of it. But here we have a life story of someone who has done it, and they're actually still playing and doing all those other things.
It's not. All you have to do is put your mind to it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, the national team, the Gazelles. Not everyone captains the national team for 19 years, Flavia. Just how did you do that? 19 years, national team captain. Like how?
I don't even know where to begin, Andrew. I mean, the thing is, you don't see the years pass. You're just there. And the more you work at it, I mean, a lot of things are different for me now. I'm busy in so many other ways. But before that, it's just about, if you want to be good at something, you need to put work into it. And if I've put in the work, I know I have a fantastic basketball IQ that no one can take away from me.
Yeah.
I don't need anything else. So I just go day by day, year by year, and I'm just doing something I love. So you don't realize how the time passes. Yeah.
And then, of course, we have these two events that stand out in your career, and that's the 2015 Afrobasket in Cameroon and 2023 in Kigali. You are the only player who was in Cameroon that also played in Kigali. That's quite something. It talks about your longevity, but also talks about the kind of person that you are, that you have clear goals and nothing puts you off. I want us to go to Cameroon. Of course, we had issues. You guys traveled late, trained for 3 days, I think.
Yeah.
And then here you are for the first time ever. You are playing before 15,000 people. How was that?
Culture shock. We were shocked. We were super shocked. Because remember, Afrobasket, when it's women, it's just women. And at the time, we had no idea that women could have such support. Listen, that stadium was full. It was full to capacity. It was so full. And obviously, Cameroon is a French-speaking country.
Yeah.
Each country had their own buses. We had Uganda and we had the flag around.
Uganda.
So it's Uganda.
Yeah.
But the only thing that they knew about Uganda were two things. They wouldn't greet us in English or anything. But when you're going through the fans, especially when we were going to play the host team, worst day ever. They were shouting, Uganda, Uganda, Idi Amin, Idi Amin. I was like, are you serious? Is that the only thing they know about Uganda? And then we were super excited when we got onto the court and they played for us City Allos in French. We're like, wait a minute. Now we feel home, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're in completely,
Yeah.
And they know you, you know? Like and why is it in French? What it was his voice, it was in French. I don't know still if it was AI or he did something in French. Can you Google it? Does it exist? But it was City Allos in French. And we were so excited on the court because we needed anything at all to make us feel at home.
Yeah.
With 15,000 people, you cannot hear even your own teammates scream your name. So the DJ was nice enough to play that. But after that, it was all disaster from them on.
Yeah.
But it was an eye-opener because I felt we are doing so little.
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't even our fault. We were totally ill-prepared. You're going for a tournament like that, training 3 days while asking for different schools their basketball court to train at. We didn't even have to go. We're not given.
And the results told.
Of course, come on. We feel that out of 100%, that back then, that we just need to do, 10%, and the 90s faith and miracles from God. Unfortunately, sports is not like that. You reap what you sow. And we were not planting anything.
We finished 9th, but at least there was improvement in Kigali.
We beat South Africa.
In Cameroon?
Yes.
and then
and then another team, because obviously there were 12 and then we beat them and then we came and we lost somewhere and then we were 9th. Yeah, but then that has changed a lot now. There's more money coming into the national team and sports, so it's different now and that's for the better because that's the only way we can improve.
From 9th to 7th in Kigali.
Yeah.
Some improvement.
And we can't let go of the kind of competition that was there.
You beat 11-time champions,
exactly.
Senegal.
Yeah.
That was a highlight for us. You did not participate as much as you would have loved in Kigali. Do you feel you could have done more, or because the entire team, of course, didn't do as much? But you as Flavia, do you think you could have done more?
I mean, I feel going through from the qualifiers, I was playing about 33 minutes per game. And I feel the qualifiers were in February and the game was August.
Yeah, lots of things change.
A lot, but also I've always been this kind of, I'm more excited to win. I don't care how. I will do whatever I need to do to win. And if the coach has a different plan and a different way to get there, I'm also okay with that. Because truth be told, like I told you, it's now very hard for me to give so much time into the sport. I think I've given a lot of time into basketball. Now life takes over. And I feel for both those campaigns, I came straight from the UK. I wasn't even in the country. So for me, it goes to show that you kind of, to gain a lot from the basketball, you need to put in a lot. And I'm not willing to put in that much anymore because I have so much going on. So I was fine with not taking a dominant role because I did not put in that much to take that dominant role anyway. Sometimes me being there is more like, you have no clue how much I talk to the players. How much even in my own team, time and again, you see me talking to someone, correcting someone, because out of my experience, I'll see so much. I'll call out a play that you probably wouldn't know. So my role is not limited to playing 40 minutes a game, 33 minutes, even if you need my role to play 15, 18, I'm fine with that because I am not really putting in that 40-minute time, to be quite honest, and it's just how it is.
And this is your 24th season in top flight basketball. That's crazy. Just how do you do this, Flavia? I know earlier you told me it's a tough question, but this longevity, I know you have a soft spot for, is it true that you support Man United?
Yes, of course.
Oh, you do. So you know Cristiano Ronaldo?
Of course.
So you and Cristiano Ronaldo, and how long you've been at the game, and the hunger stays up there. What's the book? What should people read to do what you do, to stay up that long?
I think a lot of the time, if I'm to take from both stories, it has a lot to do with the way you are raised. I have a daughter right now, and she plays 2 sports. I just got her into basketball, but she's passionate about boxing.
Oh, yes. Legends Marathon, she actually went to Isaac Zebra Senyange Jr. And asked him to train her. I don't know what Chantel wants.
She's very good at it and very strong. However, I feel that when I look at her, like the way they train basketball, because now obviously she's into an academy and they have training times and camps and stuff like that. I feel the difference between how my daughter is training and how I am is, for her, it is enjoyment and fun. And for me, it was necessary to get out to a better life. Those are 2 different things. One is playing for a good time. And another one is playing for survival. And that's the story that I can take if you're bringing Cristiano Ronaldo, because I don't talk a lot about my childhood and growing up. People just see this, but they don't know how much it takes to get where you are. And the level of training that I did and the level of just pure punishing my body to get where I am was because I had no other choice. If I needed to get an education, that's what I needed to do. If I needed to get anywhere in life, that's what I needed to do. So for me, it's what molded me to now. It's why everyone says the longevity, the resilience.
Yeah.
What's the secret? What it's
basketball does not pay.
Yeah, it's my way of life.
Okay.
It's what I needed to do to get here. So you take it for fun. I take it as a job. It gave me an education. It opened doors for me that anyone else would not open. I have my degree. I have papers. I have everything. But the first thing people look at me is say, you're the captain. It's a very huge difference. Yeah. So me and you might have the same papers. Might have done mass comm. My door might probably open before yours because I'm different. And for me, that has always driven me because it was a way of survival. And that for me is the difference between basketball now and basketball then. On the players that are playing it now. I'm not saying that they don't have the kind of energy or kind of drive that we did, but they have a little bit more choices and things coming easier than we did. So
that's quite profound, especially, they say going up, you could do it by chance, but staying there is what differentiates.
That's the challenge.
Yeah. You've talked about Chantel. Your Saturdays are Chantel days.
Yes.
Training. So we've stolen her time.
Yes.
We're supposed to be picking her. However, we have to make it up to Chantel.
Yes.
I know she's right now playing. Is it boxing or
no? She's doing basketball.
So Chantel, we have something special.
Okay.
We took away mommy time from her.
All right.
And I decided we have to give Chantel this to say we took mom
I see
away.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well
so this
done.
is tell her the guy from Legends Marathon who took you to Isaac's Zebra.
Okay.
So this chocolate is for Chantel, so that when we need you next time, she just says, "Mom, go, Mom, go." And then
you're right on the money.
And then this is for you as our first guest, who is also a lady. Okay.
Thank you.
Cadbury, I don't know if we have Cadbury in the country, but they need to sponsor the show, surely.
Like how not?
And until then, we can put them somewhere else.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome.
That's very thoughtful of you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and I like chocolates. So
thank you. So as
you did your homework.
I did my homework very well. Thank you. And then let's first step off the court now.
Yes.
Let's step off the court. You've done everything on court, and I read 2021. You were named the Dean of Students at Victoria University.
Do a bit of everything, huh?
And I'm not you were PR, you were brand, you were Dean of Students, you were sports. You spent there some time. Just take us through that. Why did they give this to you?
Again, my resume spoke for itself.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I sought out of life not just to be a basketball player. I am a marketer by profession, and I'm a PRO by profession, and you could also say journalist, whatever you want to put me.
Yeah.
And for me, I like challenges. I like thinking out of the box. When I see something, I want to think out of the box. So the way I ended up at Victoria University is I and a colleague of mine wrote for them a marketing structure, a marketing strategy.
Yeah.
A marketing strategy. And I actually got to go and meet, at the time he had just taken over, I think, Dr. Muganga, the Vice Chancellor. And I told him, I think the university needs A, B, C, D. And he's a very futuristic man. And he likes good plans and listening. So with that alone, they came back to me, and I went to meet Rajiv, and they told me, you know what? And he told me, Flavia, come in. I met him twice, and he told me, you know what we want from you? I said, what? We want you to be our Dean of Students. So I was like, What does that entail? Said, we just don't want your marketing strategy. We want you within our system, because you're smart. You know what you're doing. You know how to deal with students. There's a sports section in this. We want to build a good sports team. I looked at it, and since I was headhunted, I was like, well, why not?
Yeah.
Let's do it. I think for me it was exciting while it lasted, and of course after some time it became a challenge, because there are some jobs where you have to be there all the time. And I still had basketball. I had a company I had just opened up. But one of the most challenging things is my daughter at the time now was studying in the UK. And for me not to be there with her most of the time was it was a deal breaker.
Yeah.
So when you work, Andrew, you have to ask for leave. You have to make the leave days.
You can't take leave of Chantel.
Yeah. You can't say I'm going for a month and a half.
Yeah.
In whose company?
Yeah.
So I think it was a good decision for me to step away. And but still, I mean, there's still Victoria University's in the basketball league doing pretty well. And whoever I talk to, still the marketing, I send them to the marketing manager, Christine, or the number, or so we have a good relationship. But I think for me, it was time to concentrate a bit more on family and my own company.
And just like in the game, you're not the fastest, you're not the tallest, you're not the strongest. You just know when to make what decision.
Exactly.
And that was one of those. Now, Flashbox. This is your sports marketing agency.
Yeah.
That's quite a story. Just briefly tell us about Flashbox and why you opened it and what actually you're doing with it. Because I also heard that you brought in some money, a bank to sponsor the league at some point. So,
yes. Well, the way I came up with Flashbox agency is I wanted to do a little bit more on the business side of sports. I wanted to promote sports, not just to play it. And to do that, you need money.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned before, I'm a marketer by profession. So instead of working for someone else, I would prefer to passionately work into something I'm passionate about and for myself, because I know exactly what I want to say. If I'm to meet a CEO of a company, I know exactly what to tell you to get you interested in whatever I need you to get interested into. So for me, opening this up, I was like, I need to broaden the vision. It's not just playing. It's not just promotion. Yes, I'm going to get sponsorships, great. But I'm also doing sports projects on the sides. I'm doing academies on the sides. So for me, it's a way to widen the sports base. I'm not just a player. I want to actually make a difference. And it's the best way I know how, because it's merging two worlds I'm good at. I'm good at marketing and I'm good at sports.
And your mentorship actually cuts across. So one can learn from you the game.
Yes,
One can
and the
learn
business.
that actually you're more than the game.
Exactly.
Navigating all this, of course, mentally, there must be some challenges. Have you had them, and how have you managed to navigate past them?
I mean, I thank God. I have, to be honest, I've never been one who has any mental breakdowns or anything like that. I think it has a lot to do with my mindset. Sports teaches you to be a tough cookie. you deal with a lot of characters playing and leading, that when you come into the real world, it's not a shocker of who you're going to meet. So for me, I have been lucky enough not to really be challenged mentally. You know, I know mental health is a big issue, and I know it affects a lot of sports people. But the reason that I feel a lot of us sports people get affected by, you know, we have mental health issues is because we don't know where to go from playing. We literally do not know. At one point, sports is your entire life. The game of basketball is how you live, how you play, how you live your life, where you get your money. Everything rotates around that. And what happens when they take it away? Or sometimes they don't even have to take it away. Nature can. You find a situation where someone has a broken leg and has gone through surgery. In a nature of our sports, if you're lucky, they can only maintain you and pay you for the next 6 months. After that, you're on your own. And then there's no club that wants to take up a liability.
Yeah.
You're on your own. Where does that leave you, Andrew? This is what you have known. And sometimes it's not only also about injury. It's about everything has an end.
Yeah.
Your mind wants you to play, but your body has said, nope. Come here, my friend.
And
Let's
clearly,
sit.
you're ready for that because you started your transition within the game.
Exactly.
So that's something athletes and can learn. And thank you for just supporting and helping onto that dream that we have with Impact Sport and Legends, because you are there at that, and it just falls into what you are doing.
Yes.
So
I mean, it's so important
Yeah.
because if you do not slowly transition into Flavia from basketball, then there's a very big problem. That's the problem that you get. So for me, it's not only my business. It is now I'm also in a sports governance, a master's in sports governance program.
yeah.
So I'm not only looking at this, I'm looking at the admin side of sports. I'm looking at the marketing side of sports. I'm looking at everything to keep me connected to the thing I love. So there's just not that shocker of you're done. So I don't want people to be here, so many stars you heard of, and people are asking, where is so-and-so? The other day we were at the Legends Marathon, you know, and you have the likes of Mujib, who's there. But you know why he's there and is still relevant? Because he has Proline. Had he not had a single thing, like he said, there are so many legends I know that are not here, and they would be. But where are they? There's somewhere in there. I could mention so many basketball players. It's not even funny.
Yeah, I
So
know.
it's important to transition while still doing what you love. Do not stick to it alone. Otherwise, that's where the mental issues come in.
Thank you. You're still playing strong with the led Dolphins, and
Yes, but I don't play Nabisonsa. If
but
ever I got injured, my mom would ask me, but didn't you play this in high school? What are you doing here?
I mean, you need
okay,
to move
I
on.
don't play any weak teams, so to say, because it's not fair. Not just for me and them, but also it's good to let the others also play. And
so
then
are
come
you
in for the tougher
still
games.
playing?
Yes, of course.
Okay, you're still playing in the league, of course, top flight and all. National team. We were so used to you being part of the fabric of the national team. And when the new team was announced ahead of that trip to Germany, before the qualifiers for AfroBasket 2025, not only you, but even some of your teammates who actually had a very good season, the brand Iconi and all, were not part of the team. And if I remember well, your last real action happened at the Afrobasket in Kigali. So are you still part of the national team, or did you retire and we don't know? Where do we stand?
I mean, sometimes I forget that we live our lives in the eyes of the media. And I have always been one person who does things at my own pace, and I've never been pushed. So for me, what a lot of people do not know is after the Afros in 2023,
yeah.
in 2024, I think there was meant to be a trip for the national team to Rwanda that was cancelled. And I talked to my manager about it. We have a general manager who, oh my God, done an amazing job with the national team. He came on in 2013, Haji Mohammed Santur.
Yeah.
And he's been my mentor in a lot of ways as well. And he's always one I know, a lot of players will tell you he'll be there for the players, he will talk. And I had a word with him after that and told him I actually do not want to be part of the national team anymore. He asked me why. I told him, one, I cannot dedicate the time needed. Two, even for this trip you're talking about, I cannot live where I am.
Yeah.
And most of the time that I was doing these trips or coming back early, and I pay for my own ticket anyway, So for me, it didn't make financial sense. And it also, now it was okay. I think I was okay with being away from that. So I told him I don't have right now the mainly time. I can't give the team the time it needs. You need to train separately. You need to do the gym, do everything. People don't know how much time it takes to be at the level that you need to be at. So I did that. I played in 2023 qualifiers when I was totally unfit. I think I had left Uganda in November and just came back, I think, a week to the qualifiers. You understand?
Yeah.
So I played that, got a bit of injuries through that. I think I even have the scar to prove it across my, we qualified and all this. In coming back Afrobasket the same year, again, I had work to do. So I paid 2 extra tickets to come in and out and extend my ticket and have these. And then now this was 2024 at the beginning, and we're being told there's a trip for Gazelles to Rwanda, and then you need, I said, listen, I think it's time. Yeah. Maybe the only thing I didn't do was come to social media and say, I have resigned from the national team or retired from the national team, mainly because I'm still actively playing in my club. And if you follow me, I'm really terrible at updates. I just let life go on. So it's after some people started asking me that I was like, no. After Afro, the next I left. And they're like, but you didn't put it anywhere. I'm like, was I supposed to? Like...
You don't think you owe it to us, but we need to know.
I don't think I owe it to anybody. I think you all owe me. That's the issue.
We do.
I think I gave a lot of my life to the team, to the country.
Yes.
And I feel, whereas a lot is demanded of me, I have paid my dues. So sometimes they say Kamoli, I just want to be on the side and mind my business and play the times I can play, because my club is flexible. I train when I'm around, I play when I'm around, if I'm around, and if I'm not, then so be it. So I think for me, the time passed to put it out there, and before I knew it, it was like, oh, Flash, and I was like, I forgot. You know,
I know.
and that's just how it went, and I'm okay with that.
Sure.
Because also I'm okay with the narrative and the talk, because all through my life no one has really been positive. People don't appreciate. So you need to do stuff for yourself. I mean, there's people out there who come on Twitter, actually not people, just very few, and they'll come and they'll totally disrespect you and talk to you, but they have no idea that they're looking at the national team now or any other team and seeing how far they've come, but forgetting the fact that in 2005, in 2009, we paid our own transportation to go and represent this country. You know, we've really, really come from
Where was
far.
that?
That was Rwanda. 2005, the games happened here. 2009, they happened in Rwanda, but there was no money. But we were going to be banned if we did not show up. So a bunch of us went, some of us who could, paid for our other teammates. We actually put on A1 jerseys. We had no Uganda national team jerseys, and played in 2009 and versus teams that had tracksuits, staying in Serena, God knows what. But it's the sacrifices that we made just
And
so.
you traveled by bus.
Yeah, just so we are not banned from this competition. So a lot of people run their mouth, but because I am not one person to dispute. I'm not one person to come on social media and talk to people or correct you or do what. I've always been a firm believer in do you, I do me, believe what you want. I know my worth, I know who I am. So for me, I see it and it doesn't faze me. But I feel people do not know the history, you know, and some people come and talk about basketball. But if you really wanted to know the proper encyclopedias of basketball, I'm right in front of you. Because at 24 years being within this fraternity, I know exactly where we've come from, who has been there, who has played, who hasn't. And the sacrifices the number of people have made that people do not appreciate them for. So it's not easy, but then for me, the reason I did not come out and just say I have stepped away from the national team or resigned from the national team is I felt I have to give a lot of reasons for why I've done that now, and I'm still playing in the club. And I'm not willing to share those reasons with the masses or the crowd. So I usually just prefer to stay away and support in silence and go on, because those who know me know I have done a lot. Like, I will go into the offices of the National Council of Sports and everyone needs a meeting to see anyone who's there, whether it's the chairman or it's the general secretary. I don't. You know, Dr. Ogre will see me a mile away and say, yeah. I want it, because they know what it is that I have gone through to be here. People might have played 1 year, 2 years, to hell with that. But even through representing Uganda through clubs, it's been the same story. So the people that matter know what it is you went through to get here. So anyone else that feels, these days I know that a lot of people now they taught them that the only way you can make quick money is be a blogger, get a lot of followers, tweet a lot of rubbish, then quickly people will retreat, you will get money, you get attention. But then for me, sometimes I forget that. Like on Instagram, I have 35,000 followers. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
But I forget to post. I post like Like I can post once in like 2 months and say, but there's supposed to be money in this thing. Eh? But because I'm so busy doing other things.
Yeah.
And also I don't blame others for that because they don't know where it is the game has come from or I've come from. They've just come and seen you now and they're like, but we've been seeing this person. But they don't know the things that you do, and you have to keep it with the people that matter.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of people don't know in my club that there are players who come and tell me, Flash, if you're not there, I'm not playing. You know how many times I've wanted to retire?
Tell us.
Like, and you're doing what? Why? What's wrong? Can you not run? No, I'm not playing unless you're there. I'm not joining the team unless you're there. I'm not. And then I realized that it's better for me to value the people that value me than the words around me.
That's the way.
So if I love what I'm doing, I'm okay with what I'm doing. God has blessed me with still the legs that can run up and down. Then I will continue doing it until I myself tap out.
Wow. Before we finish, Flavia, I just want you to... two things.
You
One,
might add 3 more chocolates.
Yeah, we don't worry about the chocolates. Those are small things.
Okay.
Those are small things. One, I'd love you to tell us what you would do different if you had the power to do that, to change the game, especially for women. And the other one is, what would you tell the young Flavia if you met her today?
Oh. Tough questions. I think there are a lot of things I would do different. You say to push the game on the women's
Like
side?
if you had the power and the resources and all the means to improve the game, what would you do different?
I mean, it's different for me when you say I had the resources, and because that's the biggest problem of why no one can do anything. I've always told everybody from the get-go, and I think this is one thing I would do different, is I know it's hard and it might need God and it might need a miracle. It actually definitely needs a miracle. But I think I would change the mindset of the masses. I know that a lot of people have always considered the woman to be the lesser. But even through the national team, I used to always stand and say, you all know that it is us, the women, that bring the gold, right? Like, it's not that I'm fighting against the men, but I just always had to tell them we are the ones winning. And this has always been the case throughout my school. I remember the Legends Marathon correcting, I think the MC at the time, who said, I have the most decorated woman. And I said, no, I'm the most decorated basketballer. Both men and women. Because the mindset here is women basketball is not as entertaining, or we do not attract as much corporate interest, or there's no one who really wants to take on the women, or there is, and sometimes it beats my understanding. Because one time I was seated with this company and said, look here, what you're promoting, it's women that buy. I'm sorry, if you want to talk about fashion, that's us. If you want to talk about hair, you mention it, that's us. If you want to talk about any matters of the home, that's women. If you want to promote anything for children, Andrew, how many times do you go and buy your kids things to pack? It's women. Yeah. So they will come and promote the men and give the money to the men, thinking that is where all the focus is. But to be honest with you, the most loyal clientele you'll ever have
are women.
Are women.
Yeah.
And we are the ones that make the most decision. So if I was to change anything out there, it would be the mindset to teach that, you know what? If you want a better world out there, you're a CEO, you're a marketing person, you are a teacher, you are a coach. I'm not telling you just to focus on the women, but you have daughters, they're going to grow up in the same society. I'm telling you, give them the same platform.
Powerful.
If you want to promote and sponsor the male sport, do the same for the women. We also look better on posters, you know.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So you can use us in whichever ways.
I agree.
So that for me is it. That if I was to change anything in the women's sport, it would be the mindset of everyone around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then personally,
The
younger Flavia. If I was to talk to the younger Flavia right now, I would just tell her to keep going.
Nice.
Like, you did it. You're on the right track. You have done it. Don't listen to nobody. They will be after you. They will chase you off. They will do everything. Just keep going. Because
fantastic.
that's why I am here now. And any other younger Flavias who are out there, you are your biggest critic. You are your biggest encouragement. You are the person that can push yourself. No one will tell you to. You. If you want to wake up early and go training, that's you. If you have a goal, then nothing or no one else can stand at that goal. And that is not just sports. That's life.
Yeah.
So you put your mindset to it, you will achieve it.
That's life. You just said it. This podcast is called The Game of Life.
Yes.
Just briefly,
Yes.
What's the game of life to you?
Wow, Andrew. So we're just firing questions now, huh?
What's the game of life to you?
The game
all
of
played.
life. We all played.
Yeah.
Wow, off the top of my head, I would have to say the game of life to me is to just live life. And the reason I say that is a lot of people exist, but they don't live.
That's powerful.
If you want it and you're looking at it, like don't take excuses. You know, don't say, maybe next time, I'll do it tomorrow. Or don't remain in that space that is not positively helping you live your life. I know a lot of people do that. I know a lot of women do that. You know, the game of life for me is to be able to live it. It's a game. It can go either way. Life, you can win it or you can lose it.
Yeah.
I choose to be the winner 24/7.
Thank you so much, Flavia.
You're welcome.
And see, there's no shortcut. We all have to live it. It's just how
we
you
just
live it.
have to. We just have to.
Flavia,
We just have to.
you've just been a very powerful guest for us. We are honored to have had you as our first guest.
The pilot.
The pilot of the game of life. You've kicked it off, and you've been really amazing. You've given us your time. We've stolen some of
And I hate
Chantel's
interviews. So
I know you told
this is
me.
a plus for you, Andrew.
Is
And
that
I did this
you.
because I think you are really doing something that's amazing with the whole picture of the Legends Marathon. You came this for me 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and now you have literally put it into life. And there's no more people out there that are they're looking out for athletes after the shine. And if we have more people like you come up, and that's the reason I accepted to do this, because you are already doing something for us. So why not throw you a bone?
People shouldn't cut onions. Thank you, Flavia. Thank you so much.
You're
Really,
welcome.
I appreciate you. And this is not the last. We'll always come back. We have one beautiful tradition as we end the show,
Okay.
and that is called pass the torch.
Olympic time.
So you are our first guest. So you're not going to have someone pass on the torch to you, because you are the real torch bearer. So
It's
you're
okay.
passing
I'm
it on
used to
them.
being
Now,
a
you do not know the
trendsetter.
next guest, but you have to offer that one piece of advice to them.
Okay.
If you were to
Wow.
offer, which you're going to do now, to our next guest, and we shall read that piece of advice to them when they're here.
So the advice is
What
anything about anything?
Piece of just one lesson, or piece of wisdom, or advice, whatever it is. What would you tell that next guest?
I think I'll pass on one thing that I live by. And it is be the change you wish to see.
Whoa.
Yeah. So for me, I that's the reason I started the sports company. That's the reason I'm doing sports for education initiatives. That's the reason I'm doing everything I do, is because I don't want to just talk about it. I want to be about it. So if you want to see change, you want to, make a difference, then you be the difference. Be the change.
Flavia,
That's what I'll pass on.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We are honored to have had you. Thank you so much. And this thing called life, we just have to live it.
Live it.
Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome, Andrew. This was amazing.
Follow us, like us on all social media handles, but also press that subscription button on YouTube.